What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and we are here doing my live show in the new Leo King Studios. I keep upgrading this thing. I try to keep it going. I'm also in the chat room right now if you want to talk with me, hanging out with everybody. So we are live. It looks like we're doing things good. You know, when I started this live studio, I did it during Mercury retrograde, so it wasn't like the easiest thing to do. And I've been trying to make some upgrades, kind of got the cool new nights here now. We're totally, you know, making this like the Leo Kingdom little stage here. So I truly appreciate everybody's support through this. I know it's not, it's not easy doing live stream. That's what I'm going to first say. But this was not an easy week. I'm just going to start with that too. Not an easy week at all. And I know that might, be a kind of a harsh truth per se, but it really has not been an easy week. And I want to let everybody know that, yes, a lot of that was the astrology. And a lot of it was the shifting out of a Mercury retrograde while the moon was in Gemini. You have to remember that this Mercury retrograde happened in Virgo, a natural place for Mercury. So when Mercury ever goes retrograde in its natural home, it's not fun. It makes it way more crazy, way more intense, way more stressful. You have to remember that Pluto was aspecting it, which means it just adds the intensity, adds the depth, adds the craziness. But then on top of all that, while Mercury switches over into direct motion and out of its retrograde motion, you have the moon in Gemini, which is in horrible aspects in this T-square that we're having immutable signs. So emotionally, mentally, it just was like, blah, blah, And so I think that was kind of difficult. And it's not easy going through life when it feels like everything is all over the place and everything's combobulated and it becomes too much. So just know that was what happened, and it's okay that happened. It's okay that things didn't feel right this week. Because overall, now here on Friday, we also switched, I got to be honest, I forgot to bring up, we also switched signs, right? We switched from Virgo to Libra. So as Mercury retrograde was ending, it was at the tail end of the sun in Virgo, the most extreme degree. So it can feel like it's a little bit overwhelming. That energy is definitely suppressing now. And I think people are going to be able to feel a lot better about it, to be honest, about life, about things moving forward and things coming into a much better aspect. So I'm in the chat room. I also want to bring up, before we go into some astrology talk and Jupiter and astrology, I just brought out a trailer for this really cool new movie I got coming out, which is all about the truth, I like to say. So I'd love it if you watched it real quick. If you haven't watched the trailer yet, I'm going to play it right now. So let me know what you guys think.
And I feel that hope has been really shitty on the planet.
To reach heaven or into the heavens of God. What the hell is going on? What's going on?
To have the right perception.
Hope in the desert to me is the hope that people are going to be willing to really just pay attention to their own research and make a decision, whatever it might be, to just bring to that place of oneness. Because that's the trajectory, that's the destination. Yeah, you know what? I am doing a movie. And this actually is more than just the lecture. I want to say that because I think people are maybe confused about the movie, how it's just going to be my lecture. No, there's a full introduction part of me talking deeply about why I feel that the age of Pisces and what we've been through in the last couple thousand years has been an extremely age of deception, and how the deception has reached its almost peak, and it's going to keep peaking as we're talking. And what we're going through right now with not only in politics and the world, but religion and so forth. I mean, and so there's also speeches that I did at Hope in the Desert that weren't just part of the lecture. Then there's the lecture part, and then there's actually parts in the movie where I take certain aspects and I voice over and I go over even more research that I couldn't even talk about live. So this is much more than just a lecture movie. It's a full movie that I'm actually manifesting and creating for everybody. So it's going to be really cool. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up to people, let people know that's kind of another thing that I'm doing right now. So Jupiter has moved, and we are now in Jupiter mode. And this weekend, Jupiter will be coming in conjunction with the sun. So this is kind of a big deal. And what this is going to do is really start highlighting the next chapter of our lives, dealing with relationships, especially, and finding ways to kind of like find our even balance. Usually when Jupiter enters in a sign, we really are at the end of our rope when it comes to this place. So I think that there's some good lessons. I mean, look at Saturday into Sunday. There's a lot of this Sun-Jupiter aspect coming, and it's to really bring people into understanding what's going on in their partnerships, understand what's going on and finding more balance and harmony in their life. And it's all here this weekend. I'm going to be real. Venus as well has entered into Scorpio. And so when you got Venus in Scorpio and you've got the Sun and Jupiter conjuncting in Libra, Libra and Scorpio deal with what? Relationships and sex. That's the most basic truth. But when you got the Sun covering Jupiter this weekend, really, and what is Jupiter? It's the guru, it's the teacher. And it's also the path. You got to look back. Where were you in 2004 into 5? This is where Jupiter was the last time. And so it's almost like you got to remember, like, the relationship stuff that you've been going through for the last 11 years is changing now. And now that Venus has entered into Scorpio, which let's go back into this, as Venus is now in Scorpio this weekend, you got to realize the truth's out now. You can't hang on the fence anymore in these relationship aspects. You got to realize also the moon is going to be in Leo this weekend, and your heart's going to come out. Your truth's going to come out. And, you know, this Sun-Jupiter conjunction's happening with the moon in Leo aspecting this, which means this is all about true heart, true love. And if you're, you know, Venus in Scorpio is real. It's like, you know what? I just don't feel sexually attracted to you anymore. Or I just feel so sexually attracted to you, but maybe the love isn't there. You know, it really is a weird paradigm, and we've got to find that true balance. Plus Mercury's, you know, coming out of retrograde. So we've seen, you know, these last 3 weeks with the middle of all the eclipses, your life changed in the last 3 weeks. You saw the truth, and now it's like you got to almost step into it now. You know, I always think that Jupiter requires us to step into it. Like it's like you have to. You have to step into it. You have to get into this. You have to, because there's no other way. And we're at a place in our life where you have to do this now. And I think that's what scares the living shit out of people. You know what scares the living shit out of Libra? Is confrontation. Mars is on the edge of Sagittarius all weekend. So you know what? Confrontation is the way to get to the world you want. I hate to be honest. You're going to have to make difficult confrontations to live in the life of truth. And more importantly, live in a life that makes you, I think, feel much more connected. And I think that's what scares people is like, confrontation doesn't have to be negative. Confrontation has to be like, what is fair? What is just? And with Venus and Scorpio, what do I really deserve? And what I really want and connect? And you know what? You might need to touch yourself a little bit. Be like, yeah, oh man, I got all these feelings and this is intense and I got to let it out. Mercury's now gone direct. The Sun and Jupiter are conjuncting this weekend. I mean, this is like, it's here, folks. the last thing left is September 30th when the new moon happens, and then we're in a whole new world. So, and then Mars comes into Capricorn, Monday. So, Monday, Tuesday. So you know what? It's no more time left on the clock per se. So I'm in the chat room, by the way, everyone, on my phone. So if anybody has any questions, what's up? Want to see how people are experiencing this, how they're dealing with this, how they're feeling about this stuff. Because you know what, it's intense. It's not simple. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not simple. When will we feel landed? Stacy, how are you doing, Stacy? I don't know how to answer that question. I think I need a little bit more depth as far as what you're talking about with landed. I'm glad you're feeling great. Yeah, this energy, you got to remember, Sun Jupiter is like bomb energy. The hard part of Sun Jupiter is like, are you willing to go the distance? Are you willing to expand your life? Are you willing to really explore new areas? Are you ready? And you know what? This is a time where you could really explore, really go into great new places, amazing new places. But, I think that Libra, weighs it out, and it worries too much about the other person sometimes before itself. This is Uranus and Aries teaching you that in order to get what you want, you're going to have to do some crazy shit. And that's been going on since 2011, 10 and 11. Like, you have to do crazy shit to get what you want. It's not going to be normal shit. Like, this isn't going to be like a normal life that like, oh, it'll all work out normally for what I want. No, you're going to have to like really dance in some really weird directions, to be honest with you. And I think that that's hard for people. It's like I don't know if I should, don't be afraid of doing things that you haven't done before to get what you want. Now, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to doing, what you feel like you deserve and the person that you want to be, there's a part where it's like, that's the other part of Libra is where you have to make a deal that's good for you. This isn't about a deal good for someone else. We sometimes think about that, and Jupiter's going to come here and show like Aries comes before Libra. I'm sorry to say, yourself comes before the other person, right? You can't put the oxygen mask on somebody else before yourself to save them. You got to save yourself. And there's kind of that lesson with Jupiter and Libra. People think Jupiter and Libra just comes and makes relationships happen. Well, it's got to close doors on ones that suck royal ass. Although maybe those are the good ones, right? At least the Scorpio would say. But that's not till next month. People will be sucking more ass next month. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my God. I just said that live on Facebook, but that's why you guys watch me. What are some of the other questions here? I'm dying to know. Or what is everybody else experiencing out there? For me, I'm kind of in like no man's land right now. Like I kind of just feel like I'm open for anything. I'm open for whatever the universe is going to bring next. Personally, like I kind of feel like I just don't know exactly where it's all going. I mean, I know my own chart and I know where I'm going, but like relationship wise, I just kind of feel like, whoa, this is like crazy. I'm ready to see what happens this weekend. This weekend's a big relationship weekend. It's a very big one, What else is everyone saying? Somebody's Beth Erlinson. How you doing, Beth? Beth and I go back actually 3+ years. How you doing, Beth? She says, my big change is to find business partners who are supremely ready to level up. Tips on how to read who's ready to join our team. It's hard, Beth, especially business relationships, because you have to be tough. If somebody can't do the job, if somebody is not good, you just got to like say, it's setting boundaries. Venus and Scorpio right now, set a boundary. Be like, and your boundary line. It's like, if this person sucks, like out. You don't even have to waste your time. Business, especially, especially with Mars coming into Capricorn this week, I think it'll help you find the right people. But, you kind of have to be on the chopping block right now. Mars in Capricorn is a chopping block. Venus in Scorpio is too. And they're going to be in signs that deal with more chopping block energy. And with Jupiter in Libra and the Sun in Libra, we're going to be dealing with more chopping block. But to get more of what we want, the positive is, man, you can really find people that you really want. You can really find romantic partnerships that you really want. But you still, you can't be caught up in stuff that's kind of hanging on the fence. I call it the dingleberries per se. And I think that becomes really hard for people, overall. So there's that whole part, but that's a good question, Beth. I think it's setting boundaries with yourself and other people, but yourself. Like I am not going to deal with this person's crap, and if they start acting like they suck, I'm even though I'm compassionate, I'm going to compassionately let go and move into a place with somebody who can do something better for myself. It's very difficult during this time because we want to be so happy and loving and kind to everybody. And that is part of the spiritual journey. And that is what we're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, in order to have beautiful relationships and harmonious relationships, we got to make sure that the right people are on the right boat. Think about it like boats. Like if I had a guy who had a loud boombox and he played music I don't like, and he's on my boat and he smokes weed. I don't smoke weed anymore. So it's like, and he smokes weed and I don't want weed blowing in my face and I don't want his crappy polka playing, let's say, okay? I'd rather have some house music and I'd rather have somebody not smoking weed. I'd kindly say, I'm going to either go to the other boat or maybe you should go to the other boat. Which one works out better for you and me together? And then I would look at the other boat and go, oh, there's some hot girls over there and they don't like weed either. I'm jumping boats. It was nice to meet you, my friend. I think that's what becomes hard for people to deal with. It becomes really hard for them. And it's not an easy thing to do. We've got a lot of comments here. If someone shows their true colors right now, should we take it seriously? Like totally turn a different direction? People are showing their true colors. The last week was more than ever with the turn of Mercury retrograde on Pluto that was exposing things. And then more importantly, we switched into the sign of Libra and Jupiter's now here. And this weekend is going to be the big ba-bam. And this is also the end of Mars, which has been stuck in Sagittarius for longer than it wants to. And it's been a long year. Put it this way. Next week, after this weekend, is like the beginning of the second part of 2016. It was almost like a 10-month 2016. And now we're starting the second part, which is like a little part, if that makes sense. It was like an overextended. You got to remember also in Chinese astrology, this is the year of monkey. I mean, this is like a really monkey, crazy like year, It's definitely not simple, And, looking at the chart, I mean, it's hard because this weekend you really have to see the vision, see where your future's going, see the right kind of partnerships, and not be afraid. I think a lot of this is about stepping out of fear. Mars is at the final edge of Sagittarius through Monday. And then, of course, on Tuesday, it's already in Capricorn. So, Sunday, Monday are like, there's this edge. And there's this edge of, I'm going into this new place. I'm going into this new position. And the edge is, am I going to stand up for myself? Am I going to stand up for the world that I want? Sagittarius represents the world that you want. And we're dealing with relationship issues now. You got to stand your ground. It's like, this is the world I want in my life. And you can't look at it like you're selfish. You got to look at it like this is a long effing journey ahead. I still got a lot of life in front of me. And this is going to be a 12-year relationship journey that we're all learning on. And it's like, hey, are you and I in the right boats? Are we even the right people? Do we fit on the same boats anymore? People change, People change. I think the hardest part too, and part of why my movie is so controversial is because we have this subconscious religious Christian or even Muslim, whatever two you're running, of like, you can't leave your partner ever. Like, it's just like, sorry. And people don't realize why that began, because that was to get more money for the church. And there was, it's all in my presentation. But you're dealing with thousands of years of subconscious, like, I am wrong for living with somebody or dealing with somebody that we're just not flowing anymore. We need to go on different boats and be compassionate and love and still be spiritual and still be okay. But I think that people are too afraid to just call that truth out. It's like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And you got to remember that this relationship shit started with Jupiter now that has entered into Libra when Saturn started here in 2009. So to be honest with you, these are dealing with relationships that are 7 years old, 6 years old, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. All that shit that you went through with the relationships then is now about to come full blast, and you're about to have to deal with that shit. I probably just blew everybody's mind a little bit there. So we got a lot of people going on. We got a lot of people in the chat, and I want to make sure that I get to everybody. So I'm going to review the chat. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to throw a little ad your way about the Leo King app, and we'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.
Yo, we are back. We are back. So I just set up this new studio today, right? Like, completely set it all up. And here, let me show you. So, got these really cool things set up, and I dropped the freaking vase, and I tried to glue it together. And it looks so hunky-dory now. I have to go buy another one, and I didn't want to go back to the store, So there was a comment in the thing, and I'm just going to call you out. Gracie Ackerman, I'm calling you out, girl. All right? So she says this doesn't apply to her because she hasn't had relationships for 7 years at all. She's been single, and that she has no planets or anything in the relationship house. Well, number one, if you don't have planets in the relationship house, that's a good sign. That means that you're spiritually clear in that space. But the issue, or maybe just the life of your single life over the 7 years, is about to finally come to its end, because this next year of Jupiter in Libra is going to teach you whatever that relationship situation is and whatever that's been going on there, we're coming to the culmination of, because after Jupiter leaves Libra, there is no more major planets. Uranus won't be in Libra for 40-something years. You're not going to get Pluto this life, and you're not going to get Neptune this life. So you're not going to be dealing with any outer planets in Libra. And the only big major planet that will come back into Libra is going to be Jupiter in 12 years and then Saturn in about 24 years. So the truth is, people, this relationship thing is kind of coming up right now, and everybody feels it now. Now, it doesn't matter if you've been married. Everything. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's in this one. You can't escape this one. So I've always been somebody who, if you don't got anything in that house, you're lucky. You're lucky. You're not gonna have to be dealing with that kind of crap. If you got an empty 12th house, lucky person. You know what I mean? I got a lot of 12th house shit. The relationship house is the 7th house. But you don't base finding somebody in a relationship off 7th house. Like, I hate to be honest with people. If you want to get deeper into astrology, the last thing that you should do is be looking at your 7th house for relationships as far as like, ooh, I've got to wait until a planet comes in here. I'm going to just find love. 7th house is relationships. It doesn't even mean love. Love is the 5th house. Romance. You know how hard it is to find the perfect relationship for love? If we're going to be talking about love, okay? Like, I'm going to give you guys the conscious aspect of this here, okay? Number 1, relationships are relationships. If I shake your hand and you're a boy and I'm a girl, whatever, or you're a girl, I'm a boy, whatever you want to call it, we shake hands, we have a relationship. We're a friend or we're associates or we're whatever. That's just, we're building a bond. 8th house is sex, the glue, the intimacy. Okay, we're a relationship that had sex. Okay, that's the same as a person with a hooker? That's the same as a one-night stand. That's the same as just like, getting some sexual fantasy out. The third thing is the 5th house, the love. Okay, I have now built this love and I have this sex and I have this relationship going. And you got to not forget about the 1st house, which is, oh my gosh, myself. And does myself really fit with this person? Does myself happy in my own self? Or have I ever even experienced my own happiness? A lot of people come to me and I look at their charts and they've been in relationships and they've never even experienced who the hell they are. So they jumped in a relationship before even figuring out who they are. Now they're figuring themselves out in a relationship. And that's why I'm not a big believer in the whole, you have to be destined to one person for the rest of your life. And if you don't stick it through, it's like, I know too many people, including close to me, and I would never say names, that looked at that person for 30-something years and just was like, I'm not into this no more. I'm out of here. I can't do this. Like, and I wasted 30 years of my life and I'm old now and I can't do the same things the young kids are doing now. And I screwed up. And you look over and you're like, I screwed up. We're trained though, subconsciously. To think that that's bad. That's bad. But you know what? This goes back to patriarchal Catholicism, and training people to come together, to go to the church together, to give both their money together, to get both jobs together, to bring the income in, to make it bigger, to build the family, to build the home, to build this sort of, kind of like more people on the team. It'd be like me, like asking people to stay together so they all watch the Leo King together more. And so then they get their kids to go watch the Leo King more. Like, does that make sense? And so after years and thousands of years of that subconscious aspect, there's this whole aspect of like, if one of the kids is not a Christian and one of the kids is, then they look at it like, oh, I didn't raise my kids right. They might be into something else. There's some deep shit right there. But that's what part of the movie is that I'm bringing out. And that's a big movie because I say what people are afraid to say. And I'm the biggest God person on the planet. Like, I believe in God more than anybody probably believes in God. Probably even more than any Christian believes in God. And I show the truth. I show what happened. I show the suppression of astrology. I show... sorry, folks. Like, a lot of people got killed. A lot of people got burned. A lot of people got taken away. There was astrology everywhere. And then the Dark Ages came and they just killed people for 500 years. Just killed them. If you're not living this way, if you're not doing what we ask you to do the way we want to do it, if you're not converting your family into this, you're dead. And, there's the whole thing of, there was the whole aspect of like the church using countries to do this to people. So the church used England when England would go after France, or England would go over the Scots, or after Rome fell, the Catholic Church started to use kingdoms, right? And then and that's where you get Joan of Arc and you get her power, and she goes against the English, which the Catholic Church was backing, by the way. And then, after Joan of Arc dies and everybody loves her and everybody knows that's the truth, then the church finally acknowledges her and like gives her love and praise. Church used to hate her until then. And now Joan of Arc is like a savior in the Catholic Church, but that's only because if people knew the truth and what happened, they screwed up. The same thing with the Knights Templars, the Crusades, they send all these people to go out to the Holy Land and get the Holy Land back. And then what happens? Right when they get the Holy Land, they go, okay, these guys got power and we don't want them to overthrow us or do anything weird, so let's just kill them all. Thanks for getting us the Holy Land back. Let's just kill you all. Oh, and you guys follow astrology and stuff and use all this stuff? You're gone. You're dead. So why am I bringing this all up? Well, maybe I'm promoting my movie just a little bit. But the main reason I'm bringing it up is because when it comes to relationships and the new relationship, 2016 relationships, it's all changed. This is the first time Jupiter has ever entered into Libra and opposed Uranus in Aries ever in our lives. So unless you were, I'd have to go back, but unless you were born in the 30s and you lived through the 20s and 30s, which the relationship changed from sleeping in two separate beds to one. That's some deep shit right there. Some deep shit. So let's go back to the questions. What do people have to say? Somebody said that's why I was scared to go to Vegas. What were you so scared of going to Vegas for? I have no planets in the 9th house of religion. 0. I'm North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius, and I'm born with Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in Sag, Capricorn at the tail end, and I have Uranus in Sagittarius. So I'm not afraid to. And I have South Node Uranus conjunction there in Sag. A lot of twin flame stuff coming up especially over the next couple of weeks with the Venus and Scorpio. We got Juno and we have Black Moon Lilith all getting ready for a conjunction. We got this new moon in Libra coming next week. So the relationship stuff's about to get really hot and heavy over the next week. Very powerful. So somebody said, tell us what these new 2016 relationships are. I wish I knew the exact thing. I'm an astrologer, so at least I know the timing. And so the last time we deal with anything new relationship-wise and identity-wise could have possibly, and I haven't done the math, would be from 1929, the last time that Uranus was in Aries. And actually, why don't we go to the David Palmer Leo King computer and check this out, and you guys can all join me. So let's go to 1929. You guys have now just entered the space capsule. Oh, it looks like we might have had an opposition. Okay, Jupiter was in Leo. Jupiter in Leo with Uranus in Aries in 1933. We went through the exact same shit going on right now. Uranus was at 26 degrees. Holy cow, though, Uranus is at 24 now, right? So, but still pretty damn close. So 1933 would be the last time relationships changed like this. Now, let's have some fun. Let's go, let's look at this here, okay, and let's go to, I always do this. I go like 1933, and then I go on Wikipedia, okay? Let's see here. All right, let's see. I'm trying to zoom in for peeps. All right, there we go. Construction of the Golden Gate Bridge began last time we had this alignment. Philippine independence. inauguration day changed from March 4th to January 20th in 1837. Hitler gives his proclamation to the German people in Berlin. Let's see if there's anything in here about relationships, though. This was also us getting out of the Great Depression. The Great Depression was the biggest thing. There was a big gain in the stock market. But we actually have to wait until Jupiter went into Libra, which was later in the year, which was around this time. So, all right. So there was a hurricane on September 26th. Let's see here. Sometimes you find something crazy. Sometimes it's like, holy cow. I didn't see anything crazy. But, that's the whole thing is like, I would say, because it's not a Wikipedia-based event, right, that I'm looking at here. Like, and that's the whole thing is like, think about relationships in the 30s. 2 separate beds. Prohibition had happened and was done. And there was like, it was so formal. Now, imagine how that shift later, Jupiter keeps going every 12 years and keeps going. So it's like, okay, now we can sleep in the same bed. Okay, now it's okay to have sex after maybe we just meet and we were dating. You didn't do that kind of stuff. You're kind of considered crazy back then for doing that kind of stuff. So if you actually think about this on a really long term, like we're coming to the point now where it's going to be a major new shift. Maybe like you shouldn't feel bad if it doesn't work out. Now, I am one who advocates staying in a relationship forever if you know that it's right and it feels right. But maybe there's such a big major shift happening right now and people are switching to the right kind of vibes because we're all changing and we went through a galactic shift in 2012. So to be honest with you, I feel like, we almost have to like reset the tables every couple, millennial, like every couple thousand years. And there's this big reset happening. And I mean, even the 2,000 years ago, relationships were different, and so we're going through that over this next year and it's coming this weekend. I mean, it might sound crazy. It might sound lunatic. I might sound like I am just like pie in the freaking sky, but I'm going to be honest with you. That's how intense the energy is right now. That's the shift that's going to happen this weekend with partnerships and not letting your beliefs fuck you up. Not letting what you think is wrong mess you up. You got to do what's fair, what's right, what's balanced, and what brings you true peace. And that's the hard part about life is when spiritual people and the spiritual community starts writing about how utopia, right? Like the perfect world. We live in a 12 conscious system. Like not everybody's going to like exactly what everybody's going to want. There's this thing where it's like they're trying to make everybody feel like we should all be zombies with the same iPhone and all wear the same shirt. And one day if it gets to that, like just individuality is so important, and finding individuality in the massive consciousness with everybody else is going to be a very difficult task. It's going to take a long time, and it's going to take a lot of people adjusting their own identities and their own self to a life that fulfills them and makes them happy in love. Once everybody gets that individuality and everybody gets to that place of love, then you'll see a utopia. But until then, if you have people not living in their true happiness, living by some belief, some conviction of like, I can't leave the partner that I really don't want to be with anyways because I'm told to by some book or something, guess what happens? They're not happy. How are we going to have a fucking utopia if you're afraid to get out of something that you fucking hate and move into something that you truly love so you can be in love and be happy and have more happiness so everybody's happy? Boom. Somebody said, that's never going to happen. I believe it can. Sorry. I believe it can. That's what I believe can happen in the world. I wouldn't spend every minute of my life dedicated. You guys have no idea. Even just to build this studio, you know how much time, effort, money that I work my ass off just to put it back to do help? I don't go take all my money and go on lavish vacations and just go buy a bunch of crap that I'm just going to go waste my life on. Every dollar that I make from this comes back so I can help you and the world better every day. That's what I do with my money. It goes back into helping and making it better. Because I believe in a better world. I believe that we can have a utopia. I believe that there is a positive life to have. I believe that there is a great place in the world that we can come to. I believe that with my whole heart. But people got to speak up. People got to not be afraid to talk about shit that nobody wants to talk about. You know, I just brought it up in my movie. One of my freshman coaches from volleyball, he's a very big Christian, and I've always respected him. And I used to be I even consider myself a Christian still. I consider the Christian philosophy much deeper than most people think it is. Anyway, and I don't want to go into that whole deal because that's a whole movie. But he questioned my connection with Christ. He questioned it because I talk about astrology, because I'm doing what I'm doing. And like basically put me on the spot like I'm not a true Christian and I'm not a good person because of what I'm doing. And you know what? That's the shit right there that's got to stop, is that conviction shit. That's the shit that is the reason why this planet is in war. That is the reason why this planet is not good. And it's so funny that subconsciously religion is training its own people to be that. I even have family that think I'm crazy and won't even look at my videos because they're Christian and they're afraid that whatever I'm saying is going to go against whatever that whole corporate, that whole giant says to do. So, and yes, love is the answer. And you know what? Old paradigms are dying. Old paradigms are dying. It's hard though. It's not an easy thing to deal with. Like it really is not. It's just not. So at least I got my 2 knights here backing me up now. A couple knights backing me up. I'm all good. So we're going to go to the last questions. Actually, we're going to do this. People have been asking when I pick the winners of the free reading every week. Let's pick the winner right now. I usually do it on the weekend when I have a little bit of time. So if you shared the video last week, this is why I say share those uncuts. You can win a free reading. So let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. And I'll be answering questions while I'm loading this, by the way. Are my knights from the Pleiades? You know what? I don't know. I think these knights, I haven't named them yet, but they're badass motherfuckers. Like, one of them's got a huge shield and a sword. The other one's got like a wrecking ball. Like if you see, if you see, like that one's got a wrecking ball, oh, you can't see on this one, but yeah, there's a wrecking ball and and that one's got, you can see that one's got like a shield, we're getting down there, but yeah. We're doing question hour while I'm doing this. Oh, Suzanne Carey, I do not feel hurt at all. To To be honest with you, I feel free. Have you ever watched The Matrix? I feel like Morpheus, like free. Like I'm free from The Matrix. I'm free from Sheepville. It's more like frustration, not, you know, like I don't feel hurt at all. I wouldn't be sitting up here with the balls and the confidence and the preaching and doing public speeches and doing big events and doing an app with a video every freaking day, 25 videos a week for the last 4.5 years. No, I wouldn't do that if I was hurt. You know, hurt people, you know what they do? They don't do stuff like this. They go cry and blame the whole world for their problems. Like if I have a problem, it's because I made a mistake. That's what hurt people do. I guess when I if you want to know my truth, when it comes to like if feeling hurt per se, like I feel the most hurt that the fact that people are afraid to hear new information, that they have a closed mind, that they feel like it's bad to, look outside of normal convention, normal society. This world is a jail. This world is a trap. This world is purposely using you for some higher purpose that you have no idea why, good and bad. But when you look at the bad, when people are freaking out about veganism or people are freaking out about cows, human beings are food too. And our energy is being used and harnessed in a way. And there's a reason why you can't leave this reality. There's a reason why NASA does not go outside of our outer, our even our outer, stuff. They see things with telescopes. Nobody's been there. They use mathematical equations and see it in a thing and say, that could be a planet. It is a planet. They don't actually see it. When you see those little things online when it's like, NASA found a new planet. It's like, yeah, they saw a math problem that could be one, but that's it. And then let's computer generate it. They didn't go there. They didn't see it. They didn't put their eyes on it. They didn't even have a camera on it. The world that you're being told that you're living in is different than what's really going on. There's a reason why we can't leave. There's a reason why we can't leave. There's a reason why we breathe oxygen. There's a reason why we're supposed to not leave. And people are afraid to admit that and look at that as the truth. This reality isn't about leaving it. This reality is about 100% understanding it. And the only way to get out of the jail is you need to scope the jail out. And you have to even know that you're in jail. Some people don't even know they're in jail. Some people think that that it's crazy. It's oh my, we're in the most insane time that any human being could live. At the edge of age of Pisces ending. The edge. Insanity is what Pisces rules. We live in an insane world. And when you are waking up spiritually, it's not a spiritual awakening. It's not ascension symptoms. It is sanity going through the process of leaving insanity, which feels foreign because you have been living in an insane world and you were caught up in the insanity yourself. It's almost like leaving a creepy circus and realizing you were part of it and throwing it off you. Like, get me this shit off of me right now. I was in that and I was played, it's like people like that's the truth, That's what my whole movie's about. All right. We had 703 shares. for this. And I just kind of scroll. I'm not even looking. Like, you know, it's hard to pick the winner because I want to be fair. You know, there's people who shared it first. But this week I'm just kind of going where Spirit calls, and it's at Jen Gilchrist. So Jen Gilchrist is the winner. Give her congratulations, everybody. I will write her here in a second, so that's good. Congratulations, Jill. But if you didn't know, you could win a free reading with me by sharing my uncut every week. Or even these videos, you know, I might find another thing to show out to people. And because we have a lot of people now watching, we're going to do one more round before I got to go of answering questions live with the Leo King for the last 10 minutes of this broadcast. But before we do, I want to make sure that everybody watches my trailer about my new movie coming out next week.
And I feel that hope has been really shitty on the planet.
To reach heaven or into the heavens of God. What the hell is going on? What's going on?
To have the right perception.
Hope in the desert to me is the hope that people are going to be willing to really just pay attention to their own research and make a decision, whatever it might be, to just bring to that place of oneness. Because that's the trajectory, that's the destination. Well, we are back now. So I'm taking questions right now, and we got a really good question. What is up with NASA saying that your zodiac sign has changed? Bullshit. Number one, NASA does not even understand at all what astrology is. Actually, I did a radio show with, I forgot his name. He worked at NASA. It's on my YouTube. Richard C. Gosh, I feel so stupid right now. Hold on one second. Let's get his name because I want to get some facts straight here. All right, people. So maybe some people remember. Hold on, I gotta get on my iPhone here. Where is this? But this is a big deal. Okay. And I want people to understand this completely. Richard C. Hoagland. So I did a show with this guy, Richard C. Hoagland. He worked for NASA. He was actually like the liaison between Walter Cronkite and NASA about the Apollo missions and stuff. So he was deep inside NASA, used to deal stuff. So NASA actually uses astrology for a lot of its stuff. But what's interesting is NASA puts out to the public a whole different story. They put out a story that, that astrology is based off the looking at the stars just from Earth. It's not that, okay? Astrology, Western astrology, is based upon the sun's ecliptic path along the Earth and the sun's trajectory that never changes. So it doesn't matter if the Earth wobbles or whatever happens, like today, September 23rd and September 22nd, the Earth is back to, equal day, equal night. Like the signs are based upon this notion. Equal day, equal night. It's Libra time. It's Libra, right? When the sun's July 23rd, it's at its peak fixed where it's in the middle of summer. It's going to be really hot, and that's Leo. Like, that's what astrology is based off of. It's based off the sun's energy. Just how if you watch Zeitgeist or if you watch anything, it's all based upon the sun's cross, the sun's aspect. That's why Jesus is the cross. That's what it's all based on. It's not based upon, well, we look up and at the stars, because that changes and comes back, right? That always changes and comes back. So, like, I can move my head, okay, and I could see different views of things, but guess what? At the end of the day, I'm still sitting in the same chair. My eyes can move left to right. I could be looking at things differently, but guess what? I haven't moved. Earth hasn't moved. The sun hasn't moved in its perception, I guess you could say. It's a deep way to look at it. Of course, it's opposite around the world, those seasons. That's why there's the Tropic of Capricorn and then the Tropic of Cancer. So when we go through the Tropic of Cancer, the sun is summer. When we go through the Tropic of Capricorn, the sun is in summer in Capricorn for those down south. It's just flipped. But the same thing's happening on both sides of the earth. Duality, right? Everything's duality. There's men and women. There's positive. There's negative. There's going to be one side that sees that season and the other side that's going to see the other. We have 3 minutes left. I'm going to take the last questions here. Then the whole 19 days thing is because of the Sinophycus, and there's this weird aspect that it looks like that the sun goes through this part of the sky over between Sagittarius and Scorpio and Capricorn. It don't even pay attention to that crap. It's just crap. It's crap. It's crap. It's people who don't even know astrology trying to do astrology. That'd be like me trying to talk about how to land on the moon when I've never landed on the moon. Like, let them do that. Let me do astrology. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Like, so Black Moon Lilith is actually just the shadow, and it's not even a real physical aspect. It's just a mathematical aspect of the shadow of where the dark spot of the moon would be. Haha, that's pretty deep shit. Anyway, I gotta go. So I'm hot as balls. And it literally is already an hour. And I thought I'd do an hour show, special report, weekend report to help everybody out with this new Jupiter Libra special. Talk about things, talk about relationships. There's a lot in here. You can rewatch it, of course, on my Facebook. I will post it to my YouTube. And this is going to be the weekend video for the app because it's a little bit special. I did give it out to everybody for free. But you know what? On the weekends, I usually do these videos for people on the app. So make sure that you join the Leo King app by going to the leokingapp.com. And my movie comes out next week, September 30th. Make sure that you get it. You've seen the trailer twice. And I truly appreciate everybody for all their support. Thank you so much for everybody for being on here and being part of this and being part of my my new deal. You know, I mean, it's kind of cool. Like, I really am digging it. Leo King Studios, we're trying to build the studio more. We're trying to make it better. We're trying to be more connected to you. And of course, next week, we are going to be here on Monday when we are going to be doing the Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton Astro Buzz special, where I'm going to be here in the studio. I'm going to try and get some live guest interviews on, and we're going to be talking about the aftermath of the debate. But watch the debate, but, you know, come for me after the debate. So plan on coming and watching me after the debate, and we'll all talk together. We'll talk about the astrology. We'll all be together. We'll have a great time. It'll be a blast. So thanks, everybody, so much. I truly appreciate it. I really could never do this without you guys and all of your support. Make sure you get the Leo King app, the leokingapp.com. Thank you so much for all your support. I will see you guys on the next live video feed on the Leo King. Talk to you later.
And I feel that hope has been really shitty on the planet.
to reach heaven or into the heavens of God. What the hell is going on? What's going on?
To have the right perception.
Hope in the desert to me is the hope that people are going to be willing to really just pay attention to their own research and make a decision, whatever it might be, to just bring to that place of oneness. Because that's the trajectory, that's the destination.